once you go up the hill, your car gets very light, so you can't just stay in the throttle wide open. You kind of have to burp it and manage it.
Is there one particular set of corners that you feel like you've got nailed, that you're more confident than others in?
Probably the first one. As I said, my car specializes in momentum corners. So a lot of the faster corners, like the first two and like maybe the last one, I think I'm pretty good at. Up the hill, I have a pretty good line there, but I think there's a little bit more track I can use and I can get a little bit more speed out of it.
Is there any particular corner that you're struggling with, that you're not so confident in? All of them except for that one?
Yeah, I would say the top one on the hill mostly, the top 2 or 3 on the hill, because it's a blind corner, so I've never been able to fly over there maybe with as much speed as I think the car and the tires can carry. But that's me as a driver, just being cautious, and I am driving my daily, so I don't want to bin it. Even though I have track insurance, I still don't want to bin it. But yeah, those top 3 corners, I'm gonna try going out wide in the after lunch session and see if I can get just a little bit more speed. Maybe I only need
dirt that's kicked up on the racetrack at all?
So I haven't really ventured far enough to see that.
Yeah.
I've been sticking to the normal groove or the primary groove that most of the drivers are using. But like I said, those top 3 corners, I think there's a little more speed there. I just haven't gone out all
this.
So this weekend's actually the very first time I've ever run in any competitive event in a car.
That's awesome.
So I did an autocross way back in 2018, and yesterday I was on Summit Point, Maine, with the BMW group. And that was my first time ever running this car that fast on a racetrack, was yesterday. And today's number 2.
What's it feel like? What's the thrill of getting up to, I think you mentioned you got up to almost 100 miles per hour entering a corner. What's it like having to hard brake it and crank the wheel to either the left or the right?
It's a lot of fun, but it can definitely be intimidating if you've never done it. I have some other racing experience, not in cars, but so that I feel like that helps a bit. But yeah, and things can go wrong very quickly. Like when I was approaching that curb and I felt like the wheel was right on the edge, I'm like, oh boy. So I had to let out of the throttle a bit there. It can be intense. It can be intense.
So when something like that happens, how long does it take for you to get back your mojo? How long does it take for you to disconfigure the Shenandoah?
I think it's a fantastic venue. I love all the tracks. I think this configuration.
How many laps are you running out there during a heat?
That's a good one. They have like a 30-second dispatch between cars. I think there's like 20 cars. I think I ran 4 or 5 laps.
Okay. So can that change, like depending on how much time?
Yes.
In between?
So I think I'm running for Team Air Force, and I think they have the most entries, if I'm correct. Them and the Coast Guard. So we get less laps because of that, because there's more cars in that session. But also, if they speed up the cadence, like if they launch cars every 10 seconds instead of 30 seconds, then we would get more cars on track, more laps per session.
All right, Jay. Well, while we have you,
Force as well.
Oh wow, yeah, man.
Happy to represent.
Yeah, your whole family. But Jay Adams, thank you very much for coming up here, man. I really appreciate that.
Really appreciate it.
I go ahead and put up some in-car footage, some drone footage in just a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and